Good morning, everyone. It's Jessie checking in from Bellevarde this morning. Hope you're keeping warm out there and ready for the day ahead. Yesterday stayed pretty grey and unsettled, and that theme is definitely continuing as we head into Sunday here in resort. Overnight in town, it stayed unusually mild for mid-December. Temperatures barely dropped at all, hovering between about 3 and 4.5 degrees right through the night. It was dry throughout, with no snowfall recorded down here, and snow depths in town staying steady at around 50 to 52 centimetres. Winds were generally light to moderate but fairly persistent, mostly sitting between 5 and 10 kilometres per hour, with occasional stronger gusts pushing into the mid to high teens. Overall, it felt more like a damp, soft overnight rather than a cold alpine freeze, which definitely shows in how the snow is behaving at lower elevations this morning. Around town today, it's looking cloudy with snow falling at times. There may be a few brief breaks in the cloud during the day, but the sun isn't expected to show itself. There's a moderate 40% chance of precipitation, and temperatures are climbing up to around 2 degrees. Winds stay fairly light at 7 to 12 kilometres per hour, but gusts could be much stronger at times, possibly up to 63 kilometres per hour. Winds are coming from the southeast overnight and through the morning, shifting more easterly later in the afternoon. Up on Bellevarde, it's a similar picture, just colder and more exposed. Cloudy conditions dominate, with snow falling overnight and again later in the afternoon. The morning brings a mix of cloud with a chance of snow, but again no sunshine expected. Precipitation is very likely, with an 80% chance, and temperatures peak at around -1 degree. Winds increase through the day from a light breeze overnight to a more noticeable 12 to 20 kilometres per hour, with gusts reaching up to 55. Winds are southerly overnight and turn southeast during the day, so it's going to feel pretty raw up top. Today is the final day of the Critérium, with the Women's Super G taking place down in Daille. If you can, head down this morning and soak up the atmosphere. The race starts at 11, but it's well worth arriving a bit earlier to see the build-up and watch the world's best women's ski athletes in action. If you have missed the medal ceremony in the main street yesterday evening, here's a short video of the impressive eagle flying onto the stage with the medal in his claws. We're also sharing weekly slope and conditions updates from Steve Angus at TDC Ski School. If you see him out on the mountain, give him a wave. And if you're still thinking about booking ski or snowboard lessons, now really is the time to get in touch with TDC and get yourselves sorted. Here we go.
Welcome, folks, and welcome to another weekly TDC Ski School snow report for myself, Steve Angus, here in a beautifully sunny and picturesque Val d'Isère, where the good news is the much anticipated snow that was due did fall on Tuesday, with a little bit of wind, but it was much welcomed, that is for sure. It has meant the piste skiing has been beautifully refreshed and it's absolutely wonderful out there. And of course, what falls on the piste falls in the off-piste. And whilst it was a little bit tricky earlier in the week, it has now refreshed the off-piste, so the conditions are wonderful once again. And here's the best news of all. Even though it's Christmas week and Santa's on its way, giving out chocolates and all sorts of things to kids and adults alike on the high street as well as on the slopes, there is more fresh snow coming our way. Not sure it's going to be a lot or only a little bit, but crucially more snow is coming, probably starting on Saturday or Sunday into early Christmas week. So that will mean that the conditions are once again given that boost on piste and off piste. We're just finishing off the Women's World Cup as we move into Christmas week, but mainly with the busiest resort, with more people on holiday and with more lifts open, there is plenty for everybody out there. So Merry Christmas. I'll be back next week for another update, but keep smiling, keep enjoying these wonderful, beautiful views, and I'll be back next week. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
Above 2,300 metres, the avalanche risk is limited, with a lower risk below that altitude. Strong winds are creating some new wind slabs at higher elevations, mainly in sheltered areas away from ridgelines, particularly on west, north and east-facing slopes. These new slabs are adding to older wind slabs formed earlier in the week during the Feen episode. Triggered avalanches are possible in these areas, typically size 2, with relatively thick fractures but limited spread. Spontaneous avalanches are rare, though a few glide avalanches are possible between 2,000 and 2,400 metres, mainly on southeast, south, and southwest aspects. Watch for classic warning signs like wind-hardened snow over softer layers, cracking under skis, and occasional whoomph sounds. Also take extra care with slipping, as snow is now very hard in many areas. Snow cover is just about adequate for mid-December, especially above 2,200 metres. South-facing slopes continue to suffer from mild temperatures and repeated foehn winds. Below 2,300 metres on northerly aspects, conditions vary between icy crust and hard, slippery snow. Higher up, snow is heavily wind-affected and very firm near ridges, with only a few rare sheltered pockets still holding older powder. For full details, always check the complete bulletin via the link in the description before heading out. If you're planning to explore the mountains this season, remember, off-piste skiing is dangerous. Always take a qualified guide and never go off-piste without a transceiver, shovel and probe. And most importantly, know how to use them and practice regularly. That's all from me for today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with your latest weather and snow updates, plus more news from around town. If you know of any events, spots or stories that deserve a mention in our daily roundup, let us know in the comments. Have a brilliant day and enjoy life in the Alps.
Forecast information provided by meteoblue.com, infoclimat.fr, and meteofrance.fr. Conditions in the Alps can change quickly, so always check the latest forecasts before heading out. Webcam images courtesy of the official Bellevarde website.